Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Donkey Kong 64, Part 35. Part 35? Fellas, welcome back. In the last episode, we continued to handle the stuff that we had to do in Creepy Castle that was a lot more unorthodox. And in this episode, we're going to continue to do that and also potentially tackle the boss this episode. Depending on how I feel. That's kind of the key word. It's very depending on how I feel, right? Whenever I feel the time is right, you know. At the end of the day, guys, you got to understand, okay? Love you guys. You guys are kind of just along for the ride. You know what I want to check real quick, though? Is there a way you can check the total amount of... Okay, we have 375 in total. We have 375 in total here. How much do we need to finish off this? Oh, we need 25 more GBs. I'm telling you, I think Diddy is what we're lacking in, bro. I think we need to find some areas as Diddy. Okay. I mean, sure, we can do that. Where you find the golden banana that disappears when you get close to it. I think I know where that is. Oh, dude. Man, I feel like if anything, the big hunt here is just going to be hunting for Diddy-colored bananas. That's going to be what this episode's about, isn't it? Ah, that's... Yeesh. Okay. Okay, so you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do? First of all, I have an idea of where some colored bananas might be. But if we actually end up doing any GBs this episode, it's probably going to be Diddy GBs, right? It's probably going to be Diddy GBs just because, listen, I'd like to try and get those 25 colored bananas out of the way. I think, and I could be wrong here, I think there's like these clouds that exist somewhere over here. There's a group. Okay, hold on. So now we just need 20. Oh, that was it? All right, cool. You know what, man? You know what? I don't even care, bro. If you thought I care, I just don't. I just don't. So I have to find something. Okay, we're gonna be on the hunt for something real quick. Where it is, great question. I think it's over here, but I'm not 100% sure. Fellas, hope you all are doing well. If you could imagine, based on the way that we started each episode. Listen, a good sign that I've typically started a new recording session is if... Oh, it's if I start on DK Isles or not. And as you can imagine, I didn't start on DK Isles, so therefore this was part of basically the same recording session. I always try and make it a point to do 2 episodes or so per recording session. So we've already... Now that's huge. Okay, that's huge. Let's just yoink that. All right, that's a big deal. We literally have all the bananas, I think. I think that's actually all of them. If not, like, we need, like, 5. Okay. And Diddy could very well have something here, is the thing. Oh, they do. Yeah. Okay. No, we can 100%. We can 100% just go ahead and do it. That's crazy. So I think if I'm not wrong, I think we have to shoot this. Yeah. And then I think you have to just go without touching the ground, I think. Also, fellas, I'm thinking about testing out. And listen, I don't know 100% if this will end up being something that I do. I'm thinking about testing out a thing where I try and like EQ some of my voice for these videos. I'm not really a master at EQ or anything, but just to make my mic sound a little nicer. I don't think it's honestly going to make a big difference at all. And honestly, if it sounds like crap, bro, I mean, there's a way I could do it so that it sounds good, but typically I'm more used to the, Huh. You know what? You know what? Let's just exit level and go back in. I'm not even going to think about it that much. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about like testing that when I edit the videos I've done for this recording session. I don't think it's going to sound like out of this world though. I typically use like an auto EQer. I think its name is just the I think it's Waves Factory Equalizer. It's a VST I use, whatever. If I wanted to be professional, I could use that Fab filter, but I'm not doing all that. You know what, man? Fellas, we're 5 minutes into the episode. You know what we're going to do 5 minutes into the episode? We're not going to the right place. That's what we're doing. What we're going to do 5 minutes in, we're going to hop up on in here. That's right, fellas. We're just going in. We're just going in and doing all that sort of junk. Okay. I am pretty positive that we have 400 in total. Listen, if my brain did the internal math correctly, we should be good. I think. Not 100% too sure, but I think we should be good. Yeah. But, fellas, I also got to tell you something. One thing that's been really, really cool as of recent, I always got to pull out the retro achievements talking points, and this one is not actually directly related to myself, but it is actually related to the fact that my partner, they recently started getting into doing retro achievements. Last night they were doing some stuff on Mario 64 DS, and I love them, but even they would be able to admit that they are not the best at platformers, and it was almost wholesome seeing the struggle, because listen, man, it's weird. I mean, I feel like I'd probably suck more at I don't know if I ever stated specifically what game they were doing. It's Mario 64 DS. And I mean, like, dude, the thing is, right? Mario 64 DS in general just does not control as well. I mean, that's just kind of like the thing, right? It doesn't control as well. I still, for the life of me, cannot understand why there is a manual run button in 64 DS. That aspect of things has always been very weird to me. I don't really understand it fully. I don't know, man. It's just especially weird. I don't think it's like egregiously bad. Okay, let's get that out of the way. I don't think it's egregiously bad, but it's a tad weird. I say this, man, and it sounds like I hate 64 DS. 64 DS was kind of my main exposure as a kid to 64. Now, there were several tinier occasions where if I had to, like, I don't know, say for instance, go to like a doctor's appointment, right? Back in the day, back in the day. Oh no, I can't be saying that. Are you kidding? When I was younger, they had these little kiosks, where, it would be the kiosks of N64 games. And I always remember there was this very specific one that was for Mario 64, and it would always be starting at Dire Docks. I don't know if it was already, I think it was already loaded into like the Board Bowser sub-boss or whatnot, and the actual joystick on it, the actual stick part, was all that was left. The actual, padding and everything, it was the whole phenomenon where with a control stick, you're just working with a node, right? That was literally what I was working with, and I didn't understand swimming properly, but I was just so fascinated by the scope of that game. N64, something about the N64 fascinated me in a very magical way as a kid, that even though a lot of my exposure to gaming growing up was stuff like the DS being a big part of it, and the Wii, hold up, I'm just gonna lock in a little. Okay, that's the real one, right? Yeah. Okay, even though a lot of my exposure to gaming as a kid was like DS and Wii, there was something always extremely magical about, N64 specifically. It was always that way for me. I remember also, and this was not as common to see when I would go to doctor's appointments, but it was actually more common at a N64 kiosk they had at a McDonald's that was near me. They would have, in the simplest way, okay, I think it's, oh, that's the wrong one! I don't know why they have fake outlets. That's kind of always been weird to me. Hey, what if I could beat the odds? Oh, I was like hesitant to actually go up to it because I didn't want it to like juke me out. This is the cutout fight, by the way. It's a unique case of, even though they have you initially go in here as lanky, it actually is. It is actually a boss with all the Kongs. You only have to really utilize switching through other Kongs if you accidentally fall out of the map with one Kong. But you can actually just naturally switch out here if you want. Don't really see why you would need to do that, but it is a thing that you can do for whatever reason, right? But the McDonald's kiosk thing I was going to bring up was, I remember at kiosks I used to see Mario 64 all the time. Mario Kart 64 was always there, and I don't want to say I never played it. I'm not really sure if that's the case, but it was rare if I did, right? But I remember always seeing the title screen of the game. Okay, I probably should have, you know what? I'll wait another cycle. But I used to just see some kids go up to the game, and it would go up to the title screen. I would just hear, "Welcome to Mario Kart." You know, the whole thing is, it's title screen stuff, right? And let's go. Okay, and what I always learned from that, I don't know what it was, but anytime I heard that, I had to look over and, like, my eyes lit up, bro. I don't know what it is. I genuinely think, for me, Mario Kart 64 has one of the most confusingly... Sorry, had to lock in there. Mario Kart 64 has one of the most confusingly magical title screens in any game I have ever played or seen, bro. I cannot explain to you what it is. Cannot explain to you what it is. Okay, just had to beat the odds there. Okay, cool. That was not that bad. Oh my god, we're only 12 minutes in. What do we do? I feel like maybe I shouldn't have done the boss this early. Okay. It's fine. I'm not even worried, dude. Not even worried about it. But yeah, no, it's kind of weird, man. Like, I feel like Mario Kart 64 is just one of those games that, yes, I think it has aged like milk and has some extremely weird design choices that are so unique to that game in the series that it's just like, you know, obviously there are complaints you can have. I think you could make this argument for any older system, right? You can make this argument for any older system. But I think especially, like, the thing that Mario Kart 64 definitely had going for it was there is so much charm and, like, Nintendo magic in that game. It is unbelievable. It is honestly unbelievable how much Nintendo magic is kept within Mario Kart 64. Honestly. And I really, really enjoy it. I really enjoy it a lot. And I think that while I have my complaints about the game, it's a game that I think, especially after really learning to appreciate it, after doing full mastery of it in retro achievements and, you know, finishing that process up, I want to say a few days ago. Well, it was definitely more than a few days ago. It was like it was probably a week ago, right? Week and a half, something like that. There's just a lot to appreciate about that game. I think especially, man, and I have always said this to my friends, even in the midst of being so infuriated at the way that the CPUs work in that game. If there is one thing that sounds so magical to me that I would love to do, I would like to gather up a group of my long-distance friends, right? And I would love to literally just play on an actual N64, just Mario Kart 64 multiplayer with them. To me, that is just pure magic, bro. That is, like, actually just pure magic, and I think that is something I would be extremely interested in doing. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, it's weird because I feel like when I was in the midst of doing the Mario Kart 64 mastery, I'm like, gosh, this is never a game I would do not mastery, but this is a game that I would never do anything regarding, you know, a Let's Play for after this. No, I still would 100%, especially I think I'd be even more inclined to do it if it's not specifically hitting mastery on that game again, although I kind of understand the game's quirks, so I feel like even then that wouldn't be much of a problem, and it just, I don't know, it shouldn't be much of an issue. Also, want to let you guys know, this is the final area in the game. I'm going to be completely real. We may need to... I'm going to start going through part of it, is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start going through part of it this episode, and we will... I mean, we won't have much time to go through it, but we'll have a fair bit of time. Yeah, we only needed 100 to get into here, guys. We have 67 more bananas than were required, which is definitely quirky. Definitely a fair bit quirky, but this is Hideout Helm. It is kind of the last general area in the game, and it's a pretty significant one, right? It's a pretty significant one because it doesn't work like a traditional level, right? It is more, you're doing a series of mini-games that are a little weird, and you're on a time system with it, right? You're basically on a timer with it, and the amount of time that you have is actually going to be based on how many blueprints you turned into Snide over the course of the playthrough. Case in point, I don't know, 41 minutes. I have 41 minutes. Now, I don't know if they... Okay, can I... Okay, they let you pause the game, so that'll be handy. I'll probably end up doing a third recording today, honestly, and just seeing how far we can get. Now, I would like to remind you guys as well, I have not properly done anything with Hideout Helm in ages, because when I do this in rando, Hideout Helm, for me, I typically have a setting on where a lot of the different room types with all the mini games are actually skipped beforehand. They're skipped, so assuming we just have to do this. This is actually, I don't want to say this is a completely fresh slate sort of thing for me, but this is definitely a little new. I'll bleed a little over 20 minutes, by the way, out of this, but I don't think, for the most part, that we're going to get very far in this before we have to kind of cut to the next episode, which is fine. I don't really think there's any issue with that. What are we doing here? I assume Mini Monkey? Yes. Okay, Mini Monkey sequence. Yeah, we have plenty of time, as you can tell. I think, honestly, the biggest time bleeder, more than anything, is kind of the mini games that we're going to have to do here in a little bit, but getting to those I don't think is going to be that bad of a process. In fact, I think here we are actually at the mini game. Yeah, this is actually at the mini games. So this is going to be kind of weird timing, but fellas, that's going to do it for this episode of Donkey Kong 64. I figure, listen, we'll get to the prep first out of Hideout Helm. I think, you know, the mini games are going to be the main portion of Hideout Helm, so figured I'd go ahead and get here. But all around, this is a very interesting position to be in, because I think if everything goes well, right, we should only have about maybe 2 or 3 more episodes left in the series. Maybe. And I don't know, man. I feel like it's crept up a lot ever since we made the switch to just getting what bananas we want back in Crystal Caves. It's like all of a sudden this Let's Play has moved light speed, right? All of a sudden it's moved at the speed of light. So I don't know, but as you guys can imagine, in the next episode we're going to actually move through the rest of Hideout Helm, and maybe if we do it quick enough, we might actually do the final boss too, which if we do end up getting to K-Roll within that time frame, we will just do it. We'll make it a long episode. We'll see what happens, really. But for now, fellas, that is going to do it for this episode of Donkey Kong 64. Fellas, if you enjoyed this video, maybe like, comment, subscribe. I don't know, it's your life. Do what you want. I don't really care. And I will see you fellas in the next video. Bye-bye, guys!